a low-carb diet, one of the hard things to find is a good dinner roll recipe. You find all kinds of other bread recipes that are great and wonderful, but to find the perfect dinner roll recipe that is nice and flaky on the outside and still soft and touchable on the inside can be really hard to find. Until today. Today's recipe is for the perfect low-carb dinner roll. Nice and flaky on the outside, but still soft and touchable on the inside. It's low carb, it's diabetic friendly, it's keto friendly, and my favorite part is there is no yeast involved, so you don't have to worry about rising time or kneading time. All you do is just mix it together in a bowl, bake it, and voila, it's done. So easy. If you want a printable version of this, then check out my website at janetsdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this and other goodies there for you. Also, if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the little notification bell. That way you can be notified every time I put out a new video. And while you do that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Line a 9x13 cake pan with parchment paper. In a medium mixing bowl, whisk together 1 cup of almond flour, 1 cup of vital wheat gluten. If you're wanting this gluten-free, then just add more almond flour and add 1.5 teaspoons of xanthan gum for your binding agent. But I will warn you that if you do go gluten-free, it will affect the texture a little bit and it will affect the rise of the rolls. It'll still be good, but the roll most likely will not be quite as fluffy if you go gluten-free. Just a heads up on that. 1 cup of oat or tapioca flour. Now, if you are on a keto diet and you're going really strict with your carbs, you can substitute this out for a lower carb flour like almond flour or pumpkin seed flour or something along those lines. Because I know tapioca starch, it's lower in carbs than white flour, but it's still not one of your lowest carb flours that there are out there. So if you're on a strict keto diet, then you can substitute the tapioca flour for another lower carb flour. 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar, and 1 teaspoon of monkfruit sweetener or sweetener of your choice. This is optional. I think it brings out the flavor a lot better in the rolls, but if you don't want to put it in there, that's fine. But for me personally, it brings out the flavor really good, so it's up to you if you want that sweetener in there or not. So whisk these all together until they're fully combined and there's no lumps in the flour. In a large mixer bowl, combine 1 cup of room temperature sour cream and a 1/2 cup of oil of your choice. I'm using olive oil. You can use whatever oil you want. Beat these together for about 30 seconds or just until they're fully combined together. Add your dry ingredients to your wet ingredients and beat on low for about another 30 seconds or until they're fully combined and there's no dry ingredients left in the bowl. Use an ice cream scoop or 1/4 cup to scoop out the dough and place it onto your prepared baking sheet. You also, if you want to, instead of doing the 9x13 cake pan, you can put these in muffin pans instead. That way you can put them all in at once. If you do choose to cook these in a muffin pan, you will notice a little bit of a brown ring around them, and the bottom will be shaped more like a muffin than a roll, which isn't bad and doesn't affect the taste, but it depends on what look you're wanting. If you're wanting more of the round look, then you'll need to cook them on the cake pan. If you don't mind them looking a little bit more like a muffin on the bottom and being a little bit more brown, then the muffin pan's fine. So it's up to you again on how you want to do that. If you do use the 9x13 cake pan, you'll most likely need to cook these in a couple of batches because you want them to be spaced apart because they will expand a little bit. Won't expand a ton, but they will expand some. So if you want them all in at once, then use a 12-cup muffin pan. If you don't mind cooking them in batches, then you can just use the 9x13 cake pan and just space them apart on that. It's up to you how you want to do that. Either way, place them on the cake pan or in the muffin pan. Then take each scoop and roll it into a tight, smooth ball. Make sure it is nice and smooth, that way your rolls don't come out with cracks in them. Then put them in the oven and bake them for 15 to 20 minutes or until they're nice and golden. Let them cool in the pan for about 3 to 5 minutes or until they're cool enough to handle. You don't want to burn your fingers. Serve them warm with butter, or you can let them cool completely and store them in an airtight container until you're ready to use them. When you are ready to use them, you can either pop them back in a 200-degree oven for maybe 5 to 10 minutes to get them warm, or you can just pop them one at a time into the microwave for about 10 seconds, enough to just warm them up. It's up to you if you want to eat them immediately or if you want to store them for later. If you're not going to eat them within the next 1 or 2 days of making them, then you need to put them in the freezer. If you do freeze them, make sure you thaw them out before you put them in a microwave or an oven, otherwise you'll get some chewy rolls. So they only take a couple minutes to thaw out if you do freeze them. And there you have it. Perfect low-carb dinner rolls. Eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.